A store supervisor slaps an elderly black woman in front of everyone, calling her a burden as she trembles and tries to pick up her groceries. Customers gasp, phones start recording, then she quietly reaches for her phone, and the moment her call goes through, everything changes. Before we continue, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching this video from. I love seeing our community from all around the world. The grocery store was unusually crowded for a Saturday morning. Carts rattled across the checkered tiles, children tugged impatiently at their parents' sleeves, and the rhythmic beeping of scanners filled the air like a mechanical heartbeat. Mrs. Ada, a 72-year-old woman with warm eyes and slow, deliberate steps, moved through the aisles with the calmness of someone who had lived through far worse days. Her dress was a faded floral print, the kind old women loved for comfort more than fashion. Her cane tapped softly against the floor as she walked, each tap marking her progress and her resilience. She picked up a modest list of groceries: bread, milk, some vegetables, and a small chocolate cake. Anyone watching could tell the cake was meant for someone special, maybe a grandchild, maybe a neighbor. She held the basket close, careful not to overload her frail arms. When she reached the checkout counter, she lowered her basket gently. As she tried to remove a can of evaporated milk, it slipped from her trembling fingers and rolled across the floor. "Oh, my hands," she whispered. "Age, you try me today." She leaned down slowly. The movement hurt her knees, but she was determined. A few customers turned to look, pity softening their expressions. She picked the can up and placed it on the counter, apologizing softly to the cashier. Before the cashier could reassure her, a loud, irritated voice cut through the air. "What is going on here? Why is this line being held up?" The store's supervisor, Greg, known for his temper and inflated sense of authority, strode toward them with annoyance radiating from every step. He was a big man, broad-shouldered, stiff-necked, and full of the kind of energy that made people nervous before he opened his mouth. He took one look at Mrs. Ada and let out a disgusted sigh. "Oh, of course. It's you holding everyone up." She blinked, confused. "I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean—" Greg raised his voice, cutting her off. "You people always do this. Always an issue. Always a delay." The line went silent. A young customer tried to intervene. "Sir, she's just an old woman." "Let me do my job," Greg snapped. Then he turned back to his target. "Madam, hurry up or leave. This is a store, not a retirement home." Mrs. Ada bowed her head, swallowed her humiliation, and fumbled with her purse. Her hands shook more than before. As she tried to count her coins, her purse slipped out of her fingers and fell. Coins scattered everywhere. Greg threw his arms in the air. "Oh, great. Now she's making a mess." He bent down to grab the purse before she could reach it. When she tried to pick up a coin, he slapped her hand hard. A sharp sound. A small gasp. A wave of shock swept across the crowd. Mrs. Ada recoiled, clutching her reddened hand. Tears welled in her eyes. The cashier stared at Greg in disbelief. "Sir, you can't hit her." "She's elderly." Greg spun toward her. "You want to keep your job? Then stay out of this." People began whispering. A teenage girl pulled out her phone and started recording. Mrs. Ada whispered more to herself than anyone. "My son told me to call him if something like this ever happened." Greg scoffed loudly. "Oh, please. The imaginary son? What's he gonna do? Cry about it? Send an email? I'm running this store, not him." Those words made something inside Mrs. Ada break. Not anger, just deep, aching sorrow. She reached into her dress pocket and pulled out her old phone. Her hands trembled as she dialed. After one ring, her son answered. "Mom? Are you okay? You sound shaken." Her voice quivered. Michael. Someone was unkind to me." The tone of her son changed instantly, firm, deadly calm. "I'm on my way." The moment she ended the call, Greg burst into laughter. "Oh, wonderful. The hero is coming. Maybe he'll fix your mess." But his sarcasm didn't land as confidently as before. 10 minutes later, the store doors swung open with force. A tall man in a tailored suit, with the stance of someone trained to command respect, strode in. He scanned the room until his eyes found her, his mother seated on a small chair rubbing her injured hand. He moved toward her quickly. "Mom, what happened?" She showed him her swollen palm. He froze. His jaw tightened. Something dangerous flickered in his eyes. "Who did this?" he asked quietly. The customers pointed. Cameras pointed. All fingers led to Greg. Greg stood with crossed arms and a scowl. "So you're the son," he said mockingly. "Good. Maybe you can." He didn't finish the sentence. Michael stood tall, calm, but brimming with controlled fury. Without a word, he reached inside his jacket. Greg's smirk returned. "What? Gonna pull out a complaint form? Maybe a lawyer's card?" But when Michael revealed a gold badge, the entire store went still. "My name," he said, his voice echoing with authority, "is Chief Superintendent Michael Ada, Head of Internal Affairs for the State Police." A collective gasp spread across the room. Greg's face drained of color. The teenage girl stepped forward boldly. "I recorded everything, sir." He slapped her. He yelled at her. He humiliated her. Michael nodded. "Please send that footage to this number. It will serve as evidence." Greg's lips trembled. "Yes, sir. I didn't know. I didn't realize. I mean, if I'd known she was." Michael cut him off. "You didn't realize she was what? Worth dignity?" Greg stumbled backward as two uniformed officers entered the store. Michael continued. "You assaulted a senior citizen. You abused your position. And worst of all, you thought no one would hold you accountable." The officers read Greg his rights. Greg's voice shook as he pleaded. "Stop, please. I have kids. I'll lose my job." Michael's voice remained steady. "You should have thought about that before you laid your hands on my mother." They handcuffed him and led him away, as customers recorded, clapped, or simply watched with relief that justice had finally arrived. When the chaos settled, Michael turned back to his mother. "Mom, why didn't you call me sooner?" She smiled sadly. "You're a busy man, my son. I didn't want to disturb you." Michael knelt in front of her. "You could never disturb me. You are my mother." She touched his cheek gently, her old fingers soft and familiar. "You always protect me." The store manager rushed out, visibly shaken. "Mrs. Ada, I am so sorry. This is unacceptable. Please, we will replace your groceries for free." Michael shook his head. "That won't solve the problem. Train your staff. Teach them respect." The manager nodded earnestly. Customers approached Mrs. Ada, offering words of kindness and sympathy. A teenager said she admired her strength. A young mother told her she deserved better. After paying for the groceries, Michael helped his mother walk to the parking lot. Her hand still throbbed, but her spirit felt lighter. "Will the pain go away?" she asked quietly. Michael lifted her hand and kissed it gently. "Yes," he said. "But his regret won't." She chuckled softly, shaking her head. "Justice," she said, "comes in its own time." Michael opened the car door for her. Before she got in, she looked at him with pride swelling in her chest. "You've grown into a fine man," she whispered. He smiled. "I had a fine mother." They drove away, leaving behind a store that would remember that day for a very long time. And behind them lingered a message powerful enough to echo far beyond those aisles. Respect is not something to give only to those with status, wealth, or youth. Respect is something every human being deserves, because dignity is not optional. Shocked by that ending, share and comment your reaction. Which moment stunned you the most? Subscribe and turn on notifications for more stories where dignity rises, arrogance collapses, and truth hits harder than humiliation. Your comments help these stories reach millions